Sorry you can't see my face, but my wheelchair, my video cam will not pan down enough for you to see my wheelchair. I am here to talk to you today about things that are really disturbing me. The lack of civility in Washington, their inability to work together in times of crisis because of this 365-day campaign season we seem to be in. This is a time of crisis in our country and in our world. We have ISIS on the move in the Middle East, and the United States is playing at war with airstrikes and hoping the Kurds can do our dirty work for us. Well, if we were really serious about taking ISIS down, we would put our people in harm's way. We would fight this enemy. We would destroy this enemy. It might take a couple of years and say it will cost us a lot of lives. But if we were serious, we would do it. But Barack Obama, as usual, is not serious. He kind of plays at this stuff because he doesn't want to offend anyone. He, he wants to be everybody's friend. Well, that can't be. You're the president of the United States. You're going to make some enemies. And you also have to make some decisions. That is something that this president is scared to do. He is afraid that he'll make a mistake. Well, of course, you're going to make some mistakes, Mr. President, because you know why? We all do. It happens every day. I think that you need to either learn how to lead or get out of the way. You don't seem to know how to lead, so I wish you would just get out of the way. You're not helping matters at all. At all. You know why you're about to lose the Senate? It's because of you, Mr. President. You're the reason. You've set back a great party like the Democratic Party back several years because you are too far left. Where I'm sure the Republicans will find a way to find someone someday who is too far right. But you are the reason for the Democrats' current problems. Obamacare is just a symptom. Benghazi, just a symptom. The IRS, just a symptom. And by the way, Mr. President, you look like you're bored out there. Well, guess what? I figured it up, Barack. You still had 112 weeks to be president of the United States. So you better get used to it because you're stuck. You're stuck for another 112 weeks. Enjoy yourself, buddy. Enjoy yourself. I know I'm not going to enjoy myself. I hate to see us in this position where we have a president who doesn't know what he's doing, doesn't like to take advice. Every time the Pentagon tells him, gives him the options, he turns them all down. No ground troops, he says. Well, you know what? This means you're not serious about taking down ISIS. I'm hoping that the terrorist attack this week in Canada got your attention. I doubt if it did, Barack. I know you probably got a golf game coming up in a few minutes, and I don't mean to keep you. But if you don't want to lead, get out of the way and let Joe Biden do it. You look like you're really bored, sir. I don't know how you could be bored. You've got all kinds of things going on in this world. You should be ready, willing, and able to take them on. But you're not. You're not ready at all. You just sat there hoping that these problems, I forgot to mention, in the Ukraine, you're hoping that ISIS and Putin will go away. Well, they're not, sir. They're going to stick around. They're going to stick around. Now, you really can't do that much about Ebola, and I think the press is overplaying this. You know what? I know another a doctor's got it in New York now, but they'll treat him and he'll be just fine. He'll be just fine. The nurses are getting better. In fact, one of those nurses in Dallas was released from the hospital. Okay, she's going home. In a few weeks, she'll probably be back at the hospital working again. That's her job. But the press makes this sound like it's the end of the world. It is not. Now, Africa is facing a huge crisis because they don't have the manpower or the money to deal with this crisis. They need the world to come in and do a huge job, a Berlin airlift lift kind of job to solve this problem and to save lives. But the only way to keep Ebola, Ebola from coming back is to make the living conditions in Africa and in the Middle East more sanitary. Clean up the water, do better hygiene, improve their medical structure. That's what you do. You have to clean up the swamp that this thing came from if you want Ebola to not come back. This is a call to the world for action on this front. I trust they will come to the aid of Africa, and within a few years, we will stop this Ebola crisis. But it is a crisis there, not here, not in the West, not in the Middle East yet, not in Asia yet. If we take care of the problem in Africa, we can stop it from spreading anywhere else. What I don't like is politicians playing, of course, politics with this crisis. We cannot stop all flights from Africa. We can't, because people have to go for business to Africa. We shut down all flights to the African continent, and we might as well sign their economic death warrant because we'll kill the continent sure as hell if we just put a gun to somebody's head and pull the trigger. That's not a solution. That is not a solution at all. But what is a solution is for the CDC to tell us what to do about this thing instead of hemming and hawing, and they act like they don't know what to do. And Mr. President, why don't you get us a real Ebola czar? Some man or woman who's been in the medical field, knows what he or she is doing, instead of someone who is a political flunky of yours. Because that's all this guy is. He's a flunky. Okay? He doesn't have any experience in this field. Okay? His claim to fame is he helped form Doctors for Obama. Oh yeah, all three of them? That's how many doctors you probably had. But this man isn't qualified. And if you want to get someone in here to help organize things, coordinate things, why don't we get somebody like You say, well, all we need is organizational skills. All right, let's say you're right, but let me see you show that you're taking this seriously, sir. We know that Governor Romney can organize. Now, he would not be my choice because he's not a doctor. Okay, he didn't even play one on TV. But he is a hell of an organizer. He saved the Salt Lake Games in 1984. When they were going to go into financial ruin, they called on Governor Romney and he saved the day. So maybe you could get Governor Romney to help raise money, to help defer the cost of this massive Berlin style airlift that we're going to have to do to bring medical supplies and health workers to the stricken region. And so we can attack this crisis head on. Now, let's go on to some other crisis spots. Let's go back to the Middle East. ISIS. If you're really serious, Mr. President, I dare you to go in front of Congress and ask for a declaration of war. With a declaration of war, you could send ground troops in. We could use our full weight to destroy these terrorists. But you see, you don't want to make another mistake like Bush did in Iraq. Well, you're right, Mr. President. Iraq would be better off if Saddam, unfortunately, were still in power. Yes, he was a brutal dictator, but at least the government was stable there. And he would not have let ISIS form. He would have crushed them way before now. George W. Bush made a huge mistake. You were right. We all thought Saddam had weapons of mass destruction. Guess what? We were wrong. But just because George Bush made a mistake doesn't mean you should make a mistake of your own. You need to take, if you're serious about ISIS being destroyed, we need to get to doing it, because the only way we can save the Middle East from chaos and our ally Israel is to crush ISIS. And by the way, to take a firm stand against Iran. But instead, the world is going to let Iran build the bomb. And once the genie is out of the bottle, we can't put her back in. And that'll make the Middle East more unstable. Israel's already got the bomb. Jordan, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, they're all going to want the bomb too. Okay, sis. Uh, sorry, that was my sister there. And I got what I want to say off my chest. So come back later and give you more of my thoughts. Thanks to one viewer for watching. I appreciate you. Thank you and good night.